So I said to him, son, I didn't know it was bad to say midget. I wasn't trying to hurt your feelings. I didn't know. I'm sorry. He said, it's all right. We've got a new word now. Oh, finally. So there's something I can say, yeah, we got something we gave in ourselves so we can feel good about ourselves. We don't want to call ourselves midget because it reminds people how little we are and we're ashamed. Okay, well, what do you do now? Now we got a new word, something you're proud of. Yeah, we can shout it from the rooftops, something that you love to say. Yeah, something that we can finally say and everybody can say. We can finally feel good about being us. What is it? Well, yeah, from now on we call ourselves, yeah, little people. That's the upgrade? You made it worse.
Fight, America! Fight like you to be free. The United States of America, still the greatest nation the world has ever known. And God is still on the throne. That's what's happening. The crazy people are running the show. Laugh while it's legal, folks. Laugh while it's...
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Stine!
Get out of here! For me? Oh, you want to be on TV, don't you? Yes! Wow! Thank you, Nashville, Tennessee! Your prayers have been answered! I accept that. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for that amazing applause. And it was amazing applause. Didn't last long. It didn't last. I think it was maybe 3 seconds. I'm going to be up here about an hour. You give me about 3 to 4 seconds. Now, I don't like that. It's unjust. It's unfair. No justice, no fairness. How would you like it if I did like one joke made you clap for an hour? How would you like that? Because it's crazy, because it doesn't make sense. That's what's happening. The crazy people are running the show. Laugh while it's legal, folks. That's what I'm telling you. Laugh while it's legal. How you feeling tonight, folks? How you feeling? All right. Well, you're looking good. And by the way, if you weren't looking good, I'd lie. Why? Because I don't want to hurt your feelings. Because if you haven't learned by now, lies and feelings rule the world. Lies and feelings rule the world. And there's nothing, and I mean nothing, you got to lie more about than how people feel about themselves. However I feel about me is true. That's why I said if you weren't feeling good, I'd lie. Because the truth is, I did. You see, in any group of people, most people are looking good. A couple people could use some work. What are you saying? There's some unattractive people here tonight? Yes! That's the way it works in any group of people. That's the way it works. So you start lying about it. You start talking about it so people can be polite. That's what they want you to be, polite. And what is polite? It's a fancy word for lying. And every one of you have done it. You're all liars. Look at the faces. No, we are Christian people. We would never lie. Really? Then what did you do when you were introduced to that ugly baby? And don't think you haven't done that. Everybody's had those happy parents coming to you and introducing you to that little baby monkey face. We've all been there. We've all been there. Here's my new baby. Oh, he is so she. She is so. And it's rough, it's hard, but it's all happened to us, and we've all had it happen to us. And here's the thing, guys. I don't want a world where people going around saying babies are ugly, but what I do want is a world where we're allowed to admit that ugly babies exist. Why? Because the truth is more important than your feelings. We must learn as an American to speak truth or we will never be free again. We need ugly babies. We do. That's the way we can tell where the cute ones are. It's a way to weed them out. Gotta have ugly ones and cute ones. And it's okay, don't worry about it, because ugly babies grow up to be ugly people. So that's not a good analogy. Not a good analogy, but nevertheless they do. But people get weird, people get upset, people act like I'm being mean to the people, but I'm not. I'm talking about the fact that this is how the world works, that sometimes things get weird when it comes to how we treat others, and we should treat them with goodness and respect, but sometimes it makes it hard if you speak the truth. I had people get mad at me about the babies. They get philosophical. Well, all babies are beautiful on the inside. That's what they said. All babies are beautiful on the inside, and that's true. All babies are beautiful on the inside. The problem is their parents bring them outside. And then we're stuck trying to be polite. Why am I not worried about being polite? Because polite is a fancy word for lying. I even had one of my Christian people come up and tell me that. Well, God doesn't make ugly babies. That's what she said. God doesn't make ugly babies, and that's true. God doesn't make ugly babies. You do. And then you bring them outside, and we got to struggle. Why do I say that? Do I want to be mean to people? No, I do not. No, I do not. But what I'm trying to say to you is that we need to understand that what does it mean about ugly? What does it actually mean? Does it mean how people look? No. What does Christianity teach the world? That people are all made in the image of God, and that we are all equal, and that we're all kind. See, ugly has never been about how people look, because we've all known people that weren't really attractive, but they were so nice, so funny, so sweet, that they got good looking. And we've all known good looking people that got ugly real fast. Because it's never been about how people look, it's been how you treat people. It's always been about you. But here's the deal. It's about the control of words, folks. The word is really what makes us upset, because whoever controls the words controls the people. Have you ever noticed that? Progressives can never change people, so what do they change? Words. If we just change the words, I fixed everything. Oh yeah, maybe that's all we need. Maybe we need to get rid of the word ugly. You're not ugly, you're just facially flawed. Oh, she's not ugly, she's just cuteless. They ain't ugly, they're just attractively lacking. That's all it is. It's the word that we do, but that's what we've always done. They think that if they change the word, and here's the key, they think if they change the word, it heals people. And it don't. We used to have handicapped, now we have differently abled. Used to have blind, now we have visually impaired. We used to have liberal, now we have lunatic. It's a whole different, I found my constituency. Oh, now that you're gonna make fun of the liberals, it's funny now. I'll bet they're ugly baby liberals too, that's what I'll bet. What am I getting at? I'm saying this because of my faith. I've learned this, that the only way you change people is from the inside. This is the Judeo-Christian ethic we learned. There's one God, one way to see the world, and that we're made in his image. But the progressives can't change people's inside. They don't believe in God. They change words. Well, here's my key. If it changes people, if it heals them by changing words, I want to see testimonies. There should be testimonies. Yes, I lost both of my feet in a combine accident. Became handicapped, I thought my life was over. But now that I'm differently abled, I'm shopping for socks! Back when I was blind, I thought my life was over. But now that I'm visually impaired, I got my pilot's license! I hear United's hiring. Yeah, United said in 10 years they want to have half of their pilots to be either of color or a woman. Now, the only way you can do that by demanding a certain group of people gets to be pilots is lowering the standards. There's going to be more wrecks, more death, more people. But the good news is when we're going through the wreckage and finding all the body parts and we stumble across that pilot, at least they're in the right color and the right gender to make us feel good about ourselves. Forget this old anarchic way of going through life where competence is what ruled the world. See, this is what's going on in the world. And by the way, I notice you people are a little uncomfortable with me speaking of these ideas. That's good. That means we can grow tonight. We can grow. And if not, I will destroy you. You and your little nachos all by yourself. No, I don't want your stinking nachos. What are you, nuts? People say you can't judge us, you can't disagree with us, you can't criticize us, you can't talk about us. So let's talk about it, shall we? Because that's what the First Amendment means. It allows you to talk about them. Why? Because people used to tell me that because I was a conservative, that we're not funny. Why is that? Well, because comedy only works if you punch up, and you guys punch down. I said, really? If there's a group of people in this country that you are not allowed to talk about, not allowed to judge, not allowed to criticize, that sounds pretty apt to me. You're unpunchable. Maybe it's your turn to get punched. Who am I talking about? Who am I talking about? The identifiers. People who identify as something becomes reality. What we now call identify, we used to call playing pretend. And I used to play pretend as a kid. The good news was, when I finished playing, it went away. It vanished. I wasn't stuck with it. I don't think kids play pretend anymore. Too much at stake. No, really, when I was a kid, you know what I used to play? Cowboys and Indians. Guess what I wanted to be? The Indian! I love those guys. They could ride on a horseback without a saddle. They could shoot bows and arrows. They were warriors. I wouldn't want to play that now. I'd be stuck with it. Too much at stake. I'm 6 years old. I want to go home. I can't. The white man has stolen my land. Plus, I'm an alcoholic. I didn't see that coming, I'll tell you right now. Good news is I own a casino, so I can go to rehab. That's the good news. I can get myself through this. By the way, notice how some people are uncomfortable. I want you to check yourself tonight. Some people, I guarantee you right now are thinking, that was kind of racist. That was kind of a racist thing. We're going to self-censor. Was it racist? Was it? Or was I making a commentary that is true? What do I mean? We know that treaties were broken between the Indians and the military. We know that of all ethnicities, they have the highest rate of alcoholism, and they own casinos. I made 3 true statements about people using irony to find humor in it because of the difficulty they have had to overcome. And some of you felt like it shouldn't be discussed. Now you know what it feels like to not care about liberty. You're afraid to speak truth because it makes somebody uncomfortable, then you will not survive as a nation. You can't. If identifying works, then it has to work for everybody. Right? Isn't that what equity means? Everybody gets the same thing? So you need to know something about me tonight. I identify as someone who cannot offend you. Which means if you're offended by anything I said tonight or I'm about to say, you're a bigot. And you have to go home and cancel yourself. That's how the game works. That's what it's like, because identifying isn't the case. But here's what we have learned in America. You now have to take things that we used to take for granted, your eyes, your logic, and your reason. You got to throw it out the window. Everybody has to define themselves so everybody can feel comfortable. It didn't used to be like that. Life used to be so much easier. I came out, told a few jokes. People said, that guy's kind of funny. Now you can't assume I'm a guy. Well, maybe I'm a kitten. Haven't let you in on it. I don't know. Nice. When you guys don't know when to laugh, follow that lady right over there because she's just arbitrary. But that's all I'm saying to you guys. Is that I need to define myself so you can follow along, because I want you to. I want everybody here to follow along. Because when I look around, you know what I see? I see a lot of different colors, see a lot of different shapes, a lot of different genders, a lot of different people, a lot of different ages. What I see is humans. But you have to train yourself to be good. You have to train yourself to have virtue. You have to train yourself to speak truth. I'm going to define myself to help you people along. I should have said this right off the bat in case you guys got confused when I walked on stage. Number 1, my name is Brad Stine. Well, at least that's the name my parents assigned me. At birth, without asking permission. Oh, they were so backwards. They actually believed that they get to make life-changing decisions for me, instead of allowing me to grow up to be 6 and decide for myself if I wanted genitals. We got all the Christian people over here saying, well, I can't believe he said genitals. There are kids here. There are kids here. You know how they got here? Genitals! That's how it works. So my name is Brad Stine. In 2004, the New Yorker magazine did an article about me, called me God's comic. That's where I got that moniker. But my personal pronoun is Your Majesty. So if you have the privilege of meeting me after the show, there is a decorum. Men, you must remove your hats. Women, you must curtsy. Do not look me directly in the eyes. Only speak if spoken to. And if any of this protocol is broken, you will be executed. And you can't do anything about it because now I identify as a monarch. So there you go. You're trapped. You should know this about me, just so that you understand the depth of my lived experience. I'm a man. I know. This is going to be shocking for some of you younger people. That didn't used to bring applause. We didn't used to have to applaud that a man was a man. Now we do. I am a man, and I did it the old-fashioned way. I was born. Oh, yeah. All factory direct parts on this boy, my friends. No aftermarket add-ons for this boy. If you're into classic cars, all the numbers match, baby. I'm a man or a male, that works, man or male, or a male man if you want to, I don't care. You won't get your letters any quicker. So I am a man. Number 2, I am a Christian, or as the progressives like to call me, a hateful, transphobic, homophobic, Nazi fascist, hate-mongering terrorist bigot. But that's just because they're open-minded. Notice that. Notice the people that treat you in a certain way and then define themselves differently. It matters when you learn how people manipulate words to control you. Whoever controls the words controls the people. I'll give you an example. Okay? This group right here is a great, wonderful group of people. It always was called a great crowd. 2.5 years ago, this was called a super spreader. I know. And it is a super spreader, unless you're spreading while burning down buildings and looting. Then it's a peaceful protest. And it is a peaceful protest, unless you're protesting a presidential election. Then it's an insurrection. And it is an insurrection, unless the insurrection is happening by the LGBTQZYLF. I can't keep up. Just wanted to include everybody. Then you're just exercising your First Amendment right. And you are exercising your First Amendment right. Unless you're exercising your First Amendment right at a school board meeting. Then you're a domestic terrorist. When you are a domestic terrorist, unless the terrorism is coming from the FBI or the CDC or the WEF or the IRS. Then you're just keeping the world safe for democracy. Always fear those who give you the same behavior that they engage in, but define themselves as the virtuous ones. Laugh while it's legal, see through the lunacy, and call the crazies on their crazy. That's how freedom reigns. I'm white. It wasn't that hard. It really wasn't. It just showed up. It came out like this. Just came out fully formed, not quite baked, not quite got through. By the way, I'm white, which means I'm beige. Ever thought about that? There are no white people. Clouds are white. Right? Marshmallows are white. Q-tips are white. Matter of fact, there are no white people. Matter of fact, if you ever see a white person, run! The dead live. There's no whites. Number 4, I am a conservative. I know, not weird for a comic. I'm a conservative. I didn't say Republican. I said conservative, because if you haven't figured it out by now, folks, all of them are corrupt. All of them. We've been abandoned by D.C. We've been abandoned. You want America to survive, it's going to take a peasants' revolt. That's all we got left. It's going to take an actual republic where you remember you're the government again. That's our only shot. Conservative simply means I want to conserve the original intent of the Constitution. I want to conserve history. I want to conserve wisdom. I want to conserve looking at what has worked and what doesn't work and making assessments. And you know what I really want to conserve? Common sense. I don't want to be told by some oligarch billionaire that I'm not allowed to eat meat anymore because it's killing the earth and I have to eat bugs now. Who are these billionaires that start making the rules for the rest of us? Apparently you get so rich, you think all I have left to do is to take over the world. If you guys don't know who I'm referencing, who knows who I'm talking about? Bill Gates. Bill Gates said that we must not eat beef anymore because the cow's flatulence is destroying the ozone layer and creating climate change. You heard me right. We've got to stop eating meat or the world is going to be destroyed by cow farts. Folks, how fragile does this man think the earth actually is? Let's think about what the earth has endured for thousands of years and made it. It has endured volcano eruptions that have completely scattered and ruined the ozone and put more CO2 into the atmosphere than any spray can we can come up with. It has endured lightning strikes. It has endured earthquakes. It has endured pestilence. It has endured germs and viruses and nuclear explosions. It has endured man's inhumanity to man, and it still survives. But, folks, apparently the earth has met its match. If you think it can keep going with cows just farting willy-nilly everywhere we stink and go. And here's the beautiful thing. They don't want us to have cows. And you know what else they don't want us to have? Fossil fuels, where we can actually create generators to get rid of this stink. They don't want us to be able to heat our homes or to cool our homes or help third world countries that have to burn dung so they can survive. No more fossil fuels. What do they want to replace it with? Windmills! You know what? We tried windmills in the Middle Ages. God gave up on them. You know why? They suck! Oh my gosh, now we're going to put up windmills. Forget the fact that a windmill gears can't move unless it's using petroleum products. Forget the fact that petroleum products make the windmill blades and makes all the poles and actually transports them from here to there and actually has to use petroleum products to put it all up and to take it all down and get rid of it. It never creates enough energy to make up for its carbon footprint. But why worry about facts when we're saving the world? That's what's going to change the world. That's going to fix it. Windmills? Then I got an idea. We're Americans. Let's use our ingenuity. Let's invent some miniature windmills and strap them to the cow's butt. Then every time they fart, they spin those stinking turbines, generating all kinds of energy, canceling out the climate change, makes them happy, and I get to have a steak every now and again. Just throwing it out there because I'm a conservative. God almighty, I can't take it. The crazies are running the show. I know. So I am, what did I say? White, male, conservative, Christian. Oh, and lastly, I am a heterosexual. Again, that didn't used to elicit applause. It wasn't that big of a deal, but nevertheless, I am a heterosexual. All that means, it doesn't mean I'm homophobic. It simply means I am interested in women. Why? Because you have all the best parts. You do. It's true, every man knows that. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, more hideous than the sight of a naked man. Holy smoke! Get me a break. Lord have mercy. Ladies, did you get the short end of the stick on that? No pun intended, but holy crap. Oh my gosh, is he talking about genitals again? What kind of a Christian is this? It's absurd. You go into the museum, see the naked Venus de Milo, it's a masterpiece. You see the naked David, we're like, put some pants on that guy. Lord, and it's at eye level, help me here. So, I'm sorry that I made you folks think of penises. I shouldn't have done that. That was way out of line for that. All my Christian people, he said penis. I think he said penis right in front of the children. Oh my gosh, I did. And by the way, which one of those body parts did God not invent? You see, I believe that in the perfect matrimony of male-female committed relationship, you're allowed to engage in this beautiful sexual experience, have procreation that God demanded. And that's what it should be taught in churches throughout this nation to once again show what a holy, sacred covenant is. But folks, if it makes you uncomfortable and don't want to deal with it, that's fine. We'll let the public schools teach our kids about sex. I'm sure they'll handle it. It's time to either be warriors or give up. What has happened to America? Laugh while it's legal, lady. She's like looking at me like, please don't say genitals. Please don't say genitals. Right now, I've had enough. So what am I saying? I'm a white, male, heterosexual, conservative Christian, which means if your life is ruined, my fault. That's what they keep telling me. I don't understand it. I can barely make my mortgage payment, but somehow I ruined all of your lives at the same time. That's how good white privilege works. We can destroy things without even trying. See, I was poor growing up. My dad was an auto body repairman. Didn't make a lot of money. And you know what, some guys... We were poor, and you know what? I was not even aware of it. Because I was always unconscious from no food, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. That's not what I'm getting at. That's not the point that I'm trying. At least no genitals were involved in that particular joke. So are you happy for once? Sitting up front? Sitting up right up front? Let me guess, it's your first comedy show. Is that what it is? It is. She's like, why did I choose the front row, ladies? Help me, someone. God, help me. See, here's the key, my friends. Here's the key. I am talking about things that have made people too uncomfortable in this nation in the last few years. I'm talking about races. Why? Because they don't exist. You understand that? There are no races. There's ethnicities. There's no race. Matter of fact, the only belief system in human history was the Judeo-Christian idea that said we are all made in the image of God, which means we have one God, one Father, which is the only religion in human history that stated that if that is true, then every human being by absolute perfection is literally related. It's the only religion that had that. It's the only one that said there's no Jew or Gentile. The only one said that there's no bond or free. The only one said there's no male or female. You're no longer identifying by some outward experience, but by who you are on the inside. There's a reason why I believe in what I believe, because it's true. Get in or get out, because hell is here, folks. Hell is here. Get your swords out. Have people coming up to me getting angry at me, and it's always a white, progressive woman. Oh, not you. Look at her, not me. I hate them just as much as you do, in Jesus' name. This woman came up to me out of the blue because she found out I was a Christian conservative, and you know what she said to me? You have to pay for slaves! I said, I'm sorry, what was that? You have to pay for slaves! And I was like, I didn't get it. No, but your ancestors did. And I said, excuse me, let me explain something to you. I happen to know my ancestors came from Germany. Oh, and by the way, if we're going to have a national conversation about human rights, I'm thinking Germany should lay low. I'm just thinking they should sit this one out. That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. But their track record is a little suspect. That's all I'm saying. But I can't help it. My people came from Germany. They came in the 1880s, so slavery was over. They immigrated to Indiana, a free state. I know for a fact my people didn't have slaves. So if I have to pay somebody who's never a slave for having a slave I never had, I should have at least got a slave out of it. Isn't that what equity means? We all get the same. I love looking into the faces of the people, side-eyeing the one black guy going, I can't believe what is happening here on this stage. He's talking about slaves, and I'll bet they have genitals too, if I'm not mistaken. I'll bet they have slave genitals somehow. I want to explain something to you people. I didn't say I wanted slaves. I said if I had to pay for one, I should have got one. And by the way, I didn't tell you who I was going to choose for my slave. No, that's something you people conjured up in your own racist little brains. I ain't picking the Africans, they had their turn. Not picking the Jews, they had their turn. Not taking the Irish, they had their turn. Not taking the Slavs, they had their turn. We all had a turn. Nope, my slaves are gonna be a big old handful of those Antifa punks. That's who's gonna be my slave. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take them down, man. Gonna make them do things like work for minimum wage. And then take a shower. Because I can't stand the crazy anymore. I can't keep up with the lunacy. I can't stand people that want to tear down my nation and its history and its foundation. Is it perfect? Of course not. But why is it still the place where more people want to immigrate to than anywhere else on earth? You want to know if your country's great? Do people want in or do they want out? And I don't hear about people digging tunnels, sneaking into North Korea. Anybody heard about that one yet? Huh? Anybody heard about that move? Do you know more sub-Saharan Africans have immigrated here on purpose than ever came in slave trip? How stupid do you think these people are? If they chose to come here, if they thought it was racist. How demeaning must you be? Progressives always screw it up. They're a cancer. Everything they touch dies. And I'm going to call it out while it's good. I'm going to laugh while it's legal. They told me, the founding fathers, same woman, by the way. I don't know why I look at you when I talk about this woman, but I guess you're like a template for what she would look like. Your name Karen by any chance? Okay, I just suddenly all the people, what if it was? What if it was true? Lord have mercy. Your mom's name's Karen? Oh, so you're of the lineage of the Karens. You are a Karenite. So, they told me the founding fathers would have been transphobes. That's the word they used. We're talking about this idea of you trying to judge people 250 years ago about what's happening today. Come on, folks, it's absurd. But they said this, the founding fathers would have been transphobes. They were just a bunch of white, dead European males. Sounds kind of racist to me. I thought you people couldn't do racism. I thought it was only our territory. But that's what they said. They would have been transphobes. And I said, what? You ever seen a picture of the founding fathers? They all walked around all day wearing women's wigs, for crying out loud. They saw this coming a mile away. They beat you to the punch there, buddy. Then I finally joined the misgender club. I misgendered my first person. I was hoping I could jump in. I just didn't know how. But I finally did. Excuse me, sir. I am a woman! How dare you misgender me? I said, what did I do? You misgendered me. I said, excuse me, but isn't miss a pronoun for a woman? Yes! Well, then if I misgendered you, I got it right. I was in a show many years ago in front of 15,000 men. They were laughing their chops off. And in this show, I used the word midget. What are you laughing at? Laughing at this poor midget who never hurt you. He never hurt you. Just minding his own little business. Shopping in the infant aisle so he can go to work. And there you sit with your privilege. I'm just making this up as I go. I don't know. I panicked because I said midget. I said midget. I wasn't making fun of him. I wasn't mocking him. Okay? I was talking to, it was a joke that I'd used where I talked about how there's young people in the crowd. There's some young kids over there. I was talking about young kids, how you guys grew up and, in a special technology world that I didn't get. A technology world where everybody had airbags in their cars all the time. Front bag, side bag, bag. You probably thought cars have always had bags. You probably thought the Model T had bags. It wasn't sophisticated, just a midget with a paper sack. See? It's funny. I didn't insult him, I gave him a job. After he found his little pants, I gave him a job. So I'm doing this show. All these guys will come up to me, they walk up to me, I'm selling my stuff. And a midget comes up. A midget comes up. One guy passed. What? I thought we eliminated all of them. They're still here? Yes. So a midget came up. And I wasn't thinking anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know there was going to be a problem. And he walked right up to me. He looked me right in the knees. I can't help it! Truth! And he said to me, hey man, I really liked your show, you're very funny. But I gotta tell you something. What is it? Well, when you said midget, it took the wind out of my sails. I said, why? He said, because to us the word midget is like the N-word. I said, what? I'd never heard that before at that time. I'd never heard that. I said, wait a minute. See, I always thought midget simply meant somebody that was below average in height, but that their limbs were in perfect proportion to their body. Whereas a dwarf was somebody below average in height, but their head and their limbs were not in proportion to their body. But then I looked it up in the dictionary and found out I was right. That's what it meant! It's not a pejorative. It references a person with a particular body style. That's all I'm getting. It's arbitrary. They decided out of the blue to make this offensive. And it's not. Well, prove it. Why is midget offensive, but giant isn't? Arbitrary. And by the way, how come you can be offended by hearing it, but it doesn't, and that counts. It counts if I say it and you're offended, but it doesn't count if I meant it as an endearment. How come your reception always counts, but my delivery is never considered? How come you get to make the rules? How come you get to decide everything that is true and not true and good and not bad and what words I can use and can't use and what is offensive and what is not? Why do you get to have such privilege and put yourself on such a high pedestal? I can't even reach you. Maybe it's your turn to be punched. This either works all the way around or it's a fraud designed to control you. And I ain't playing. I might lose. My country's on the precipice, but I'm going down swinging. Because freedom means something to me, and if you have nothing worth dying for, folks, you got nothing worth living for. Be warriors again. Be Americans again. Fight for what is true. Even the most offensive word that's out there has no power if you say, I don't care. Folks, it takes maturity and virtue and warrior spirit to overcome what is happening to the West. You better believe and care about freedom, because I promise you, once you give it away, it will not come back. You can vote for communism once. You see, body that we have, our bodies are sacred. Just like we have a spirit that lasts forever, our bodies are sacred too. And we used to be loving. We used to talk about our body parts. That's what men would say to women. Nice legs. Did anybody say that to you? Yes, of course. I realized as that came out of my mouth, what if they didn't? What if they didn't? And this poor woman is like, I don't have any legs. Haven't you looked? So I was really rolling the dice there for a second with a potential torso that I didn't see through the dimness. Holy smoke, thank you, Jesus, that the woman has appendages. But we used to say that, nice legs, right? Have you ever noticed, by the way, that we only like our body parts when they're attached? I mean, if you think about it, what's the difference? I mean, I love your legs. I don't want to find one under the couch. That's all I'm saying. What's the difference? Same leg, unattached. I can prove it. Nothing goes worse. Nothing goes from gorgeous to gross faster when it comes to body parts than hair. I do not know what this voodoo transition that happens with hair, but I can go into my wife while she's cooking and I say to her, honey, I love your hair. I kiss your hair. I caress your hair. I smell your hair. I feel your hair. I love your hair. Find one of those hairs in your cottage cheese. Same hair, unattached. You see, our bodies do break down because we're not perfect anymore. We were designed to live forever, but we're not going to. I'm getting older. I really am. I'm getting older. I don't feel like it in here, but my body's letting me in on it. I went for a whole year enduring frozen shoulder syndrome. Anybody else have frozen shoulder? Don't raise your hand. Because you can't. You absolutely can't. See, the kids don't know what I'm talking about. How old are you, son? 23 years old. Okay, so you don't know. See, you're young. You're a young guy. You don't know what I'm talking about, frozen shoulder syndrome, so I'm going to help you walk you through it. Because one day, if you happen to make it to my age, you may not, but if you do, you'll understand frozen shoulder. Here's what happens. You go to bed at night like this. And you wake up in the morning, it goes like this. It doesn't make any sense. Why? Because when you're 23, whenever you damage your shoulder, it's always something you can brag about. Always. What happened to your shoulder? Well, I was climbing, rock climbing, about 50 feet in the air, fell down, hit my shoulder on a jagged rock, stood up, took some stinking branches from a tree and sewed it up, walked it off. What happened to your shoulder? I was skydiving, shooting in open, landed in a mosh pit. Comatose, 6 years, woke up, walked it off. Because you're 23. You get my age. Hey, I got frozen shoulder. What happened? Well, so I was brushing my teeth. That's what happens. Your body just breaks down for no reason. It's kind of like God's practical joke for you sticking around this long. You're 23. You know how, like, when you go pee and when you want to stop, you just do? Gone! You will literally go shopping for diapers for yourself. This is the punishment for still being around. In my life, I've seen lots of presidents come and go. And here's the one thing, and as a Christian, I should say this. I am forbidden to hate people. I want to, but I'm forbidden. And it sucks. Because it teaches you self-discipline to a higher source, which makes you a internal moral person on your own, which is what the founders said, by the way. This country cannot survive if we are not a religious nation. If we do not return to God, I don't care what you believe, we are doomed. Period. But I've seen presidents come and go, and I've never taken a political party. I've never done it that way. I don't make fun of people. I don't make fun of presidents, whether I voted for them or not. I've tried to be neutral on that. So I don't take a guy and mock him. But this last guy, holy crap. I have never experienced somebody that every time they spoke, Alzheimer's patients were going, "What is he talking about?" We've been abandoned by DC. It's going to have to be us one more time with a revolution. You know, it's funny because I was seeing how people were caring about this nation. We grew up that way, singing songs, God bless America, America the beautiful, right? That's what made us America. We cared, we loved it. They don't sing songs about England in England. Think about that. There's no God bless England. Their most famous song is about how bad their bridges are. I mean, they sing about it. And then they just keep rubbing it in. I'd say one verse and leave it alone. But they just don't stop. London Bridge is falling down. That is so sad. I'm sorry. Falling down. Oh, I'm sorry to... Falling down. Okay, I'm sorry to hear. London Bridge is falling. I get it. Your bridges suck. My fair lady. You told your lady? No American man would have told his lady his bridge was falling apart. How's the bridge doing, babe? Doing fine. I threw a little duct tape on it, but we're hanging in there, baby. My fair lady, nothing fair about that. Somebody ordered a bridge and it fell apart. Sounds like somebody got ripped off. But this is England, where their most famous food is steak and kidney pie. They eat kidneys. And it's so horrific, they had to hide it between foods we actually would want to eat. Hey, we're having steak. All right. And kidney. Huh? Pie. Okay. We're having steak and pie and kidney. What? Where do you get that? They're cooking it over by the bridge. You might want to go find it if it's still there. But let me tell you something, guys. As we wrap up this great moment, and let's face it, it's, for many of you, this has been the greatest night of your life. But I need you to be, we need to be one again, okay? We don't have to agree on everything. We don't have to vote on the same people. That really is what it means to be free. But in the end, there is a difference between a citizen and an American. Didn't used to be that way. Citizen used to be something that you treasured. If you were a Roman citizen, it was quite a special power you were given. Citizen mattered. Now, anybody can be a citizen. But an American means that you love your country. You learn its traditions, its history, its language, its people. You're not perfect, and if things aren't, you try to fix it. But you are grateful for the greatest nation there ever has been. And that's what happened. We didn't do it. We were blessed with it. And you can fall for these things, and the next time they try to trick you, we will going to need everybody this time to say, we aren't playing this game of mandates anymore. It's up to you. I walked through thinking Chicago O'Hare Airport in 2020, no mask, filming it, watching all the people just... And I actually believed, I'm serious, I actually believed that they were going to look at me and go, he's right. This isn't America. Nobody did. Everybody loves to reference the emperor's new clothes. Everybody thinks that they'd be the kid that said he's naked. You know what we found out with COVID? Nobody wants to be the kid. You have to be courageous. And you have to be willing to stand alone. When you walk through the airport in Chicago in the 2020 with no mask, you're like the only guy at a nude beach with a bathing suit on. You're the freak. But hey, if you came here tonight, you didn't know what to expect, didn't know what I was going to say, weren't used to free speech anymore, weren't used to the fact that there are some of us who are still willing to do whatever is necessary to make you uncomfortable so that you understand that free speech is more important than your comfort. Free speech is more important than making you feel good about yourself. Maybe it's time you start growing up and becoming the adult that you were supposed to be all along. But listen, maybe you're here and you didn't know what to expect. Don't forget how easy you can be misled. You see, look at this great group of people. This was always called a great crowd. 2.5 years ago, though, they would have looked at this and said, it's a miracle! Look, people are able to sit next to each other and live! But maybe you're out here, and maybe you're laughing and choking, trying to go along with it, but you still go home and you like to put your mask back on every now and again, just for old time's sake. You know, your little rabbit's foot, your little voodoo doll, your little talisman that you thought for 50 cents would keep you from the Black Plague. Maybe that's who you are, and you felt like it was okay to do that and to give away your liberties and your freedom so that you wouldn't get a virus. Are you kidding me? Well, if you're out there, let's weed them out, shall we? If you didn't get it, you got it now. Why? Because for 2.5 years I was told I have the #1 symptom of coronavirus. And you know what they told me the #1 symptom of coronavirus was? No symptoms! They said the people to fear are the ones that aren't sick! What? I caught COVID and I never had symptoms, which means I caught it from myself. I don't understand what's going on, folks, but the next time a virus pops through that's got a 99.8% survival rate, maybe next time we shouldn't shut down Earth. Just throwing it out. Just throwing it out there. I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm just a comedian. I'm no Fauci. Yeah. How did one man make that much money and be wrong that many times and not at least have to be a weatherman? Explain this to me, my friends, how he got that gig. Because this man became a lunatic. He wanted to control the world. Everything he said people did. Put on a mask, they did. Put on 2, they did. Put on 3, they did. Put on a suit of armor, they did. Sing and laminate your lungs, they did. They did everything the crazy guy said. And he was wrong every time. But he was a bureaucrat, and he was a self-appointed elite, and nothing ever happened to him, even though he was a crime against humanity. So from now on, we're never going to forget that man's name. From this day forward, when somebody comes up to you and tells you that they're going to rule you, you're going to bow to them, and even though they're wrong, nothing's going to happen to them. We're going to say from this day forward, you Fauci'd that up. Let his name go down in infamy. Because it was ridiculous what happened to us. Because we used to be warriors. Revolutionary War, the most powerful nation on earth. We fought and we won because Americans didn't run. We didn't hide. Civil War, we were going to break this nation. We said no. We fought. We didn't run. Second World War, fascism, Nazism. We fought against it because Americans never run and weren't fearful. Even September 11th, we were not fearful of terrorism in our own nation, and we fought. We weren't afraid. We came together, and 2.5 years ago, the biggest fear for most Americans was running out of toilet paper. Grown adults without their pre-rolled paper, like, how am I going to survive wiping my own hind end without pre-rolled paper? I don't know. Get a rag, for crying out loud. Stick your butt in the sink. Figure it out. You're a big boy. Then they let us back in the restaurants like they did something noble. We let you back in the restaurants. Aren't we super sweet people? No, because they never should have been shut in the first place. God almighty, you don't get to steal my wallet, give me $5 out of it, and say you did something altruistic. It was never yours in the first place. And as soon as we came back, we thought things were back to normal, right? And what did they let us know? Oh no, hey, I'm back in. Put a mask on! Hey, what? I thought we were, put a mask on! You're killing Grandma! They will always use your best virtue and emotions to try to control you, and that's all you ever heard. You're killing Grandma! Apparently, they didn't give a crap about Grandpa. Let him die, but we need Grandma! We need pie! Put a mask on, and then you did, but it wasn't enough. Because you better know, not there, not there. It's got to go all the way over. This isn't the problem that's killing the world. This is the problem right there. This isn't the issue. It's that part right there that's wiping out the whole world. All right, fine, I put it on. Now you keep it on. It's so dangerous out there. As soon as you sat down, take it off. Put it on! Okay. Take it off! What? Why were we so frightened by a virus so stupid it couldn't find you when you sat down? Somewhere down the road, a chair became a four-legged vaccine. We never needed Pfizer, just IKEA. We could have kept the economy wide open if we had just remained seated. Are you frightened? Not at this altitude. Up here, I'm scared to death, but not way down here. I'm safe down here. By that perspective, the only human that couldn't possibly have ever gotten COVID was a midget. As I tape this, my 7th album of my life. 7 is the perfect number in God's world. So this will either be the most important album I've ever made or my last. But what I'm trying to tell you guys is, as I speak today, we are about to have a big election. And I do not know what's going to happen. And I do not know if I'm going to be allowed to vote. I know I was allowed to pull a lever. We don't know. But whatever happens, if we choose to relish this nation and not give it up, and all stand as one and say, you're going to have to kill us all, maybe God will show mercy and give us a third great awakening. And it will only happen because we will finally say, we're the government, not you corrupt, self-appointed elite. So keep this in mind. Speak truth at all times. And this you must know. It's going to be shocking. Guys and girls are different. Girls think, guys know. I'll prove it. Girls think you need shampoo and body wash. 2 liquid soaps. They buy 2. Guys Guys know that shampoo is body wash. That starts in your hair. Girls think if you have holes in your underwear, it's time to throw them away. Guys know that if there's holes in your underwear, they're just getting broken in. And lastly, girls think you need a shower and a toilet. Doesn't need a punchline, does it there, folks? Every man is looking at me like, you do that too? And every woman's going, you have got to be kidding me. But in the end, my friends, you need to stand up again, never cower, and let them know from the rooftops. This is the United States of America. We're still here, and it's still the greatest nation the world has ever known. And God is still on the throne.